everyone, Tanya here again. So today we are going to work on putting all of what we have reset in together. So it's quite a tall ask in terms of 10 minutes, considering it's taken us quite a number of days to get here already. So we've done 5 days, this is day 6. We need all your gadgets, so you need your stick, you need a chair, you need, whether it was your foam roller or whether you used a couple of like big rolled up towels to form your sausage, so that we can do our thoracic openers. We're going to breathe, we're going to set up our neutral spine, and we're going to set up our core contraction to lead us into our standing posture, and then we're going to mobilize. Okay, so ready? Let's get started. If you don't have all your bits and bobs, pause me and go get everything, and then let's get started. Okay, so we're going to bring you down first of all, and we're going to start off with that thoracic opener. So in terms of that, working in with your breath, so we started about lower shoulder blades, hands behind the head, knees bent, and from there then taking just those relaxed breaths, opening up through the spine. So depending on how big your sausage is underneath there, will depend whether you get the head to the floor. So we're just going to move open, just one move, just getting that sense. Does that feel about right? If it doesn't and you need to adjust it, then take that time to get it right. And then take a few deep breaths. I want you to relax here. Maybe relax is a tricky word to use in this position, but I want you to try to melt around the foam roller, the bolster, the sausage, whatever you're using, so that the breathing gets a little bit easier, it feels a little bit softer. Now when that does, whether you roll to the side and then move the towel, if you're using it, up a little bit, so about an inch or so. If you're on a roller, because it's a firmer surface, it's easier to curl up away from. And then we're coming back onto it again, keeping the elbows narrow. Remember, it opens up the space between the spine and the shoulder blades. If you close that down with the elbows open, it just doesn't feel as nice, but it also it doesn't give you that opener in the same way. So again, those few breaths. Trying to melt around. Sounds a bit odd melting around the sausage, but whatever you're using, you know what I mean. Okay, so again, if you feel like you've melted there, about 3 breaths or so, either curling it up or roll to the side. Again, another adjustment, just one more, getting closer to the tops of the shoulder blades, still at that section of the spine that feels like it rounds backwards. So you should feel that pressure from the roller against you, pushing upwards. Again, those 3 breaths. Okay, now once you've done those 3 breaths, we're going to draw you up. You're going to slide the roller out of the way, whether you want it as your pillow or not, but I want you to take it somewhere that it's not going to hinder your movements next. So lying down, knees are bent, getting that sense first of all of where your spine is placed on the floor. And we're going to orientate the spine. So remember our pelvic tilts, so tilting into anterior, tilt the back, creates that big space between your lower back and the floor, and then whenever we flatten, you feel that space disappears. So just go a couple of times between that, or whatever number that you feel that you need to get that awareness of the size of that movement. But whenever you draw it into that midpoint, it should feel like the backbone of the pelvis, the sacrum, should feel flat, and the ribs should feel like they're in contact. But that tiny little space, if you needed to push something in there, sometimes I've suggested using a belt underneath, and you can kind of floss along the floor, and as long as that can move, you know you're in the right place. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, if you've been to the Pilates classes, we sometimes do that, so it can be another tool to use. Now once we're down there, I want you to take a few breaths, but we're going to use one hand on the belly, one hand onto the chest, below the belly button and above the V of the ribs. Take a few deep breaths and focus on which hand moves first. You know the right answer, so don't force it, just let the breath happen. So hopefully that hand at the belly moves as the lungs inflate. It pushes the abdominal contents down, that's why it rises up. And when you breathe out, the belly draws to the spine. So you know you've got more homework if you're an upper chest breather. So I want you to make sure we have this focus so that you're nice and relaxed and it comes down into there. So that's our breathing check. We've set us up into neutral. We're going to engage that pelvic floor contraction now. That idea of closing off back passage for females, middle passage and front passage, and for males, closing off, so if starting going to for number one, and pulling up inside, not to your guts. So again, if you've watched the previous ones, none of that should be a surprise. But again, that feeling of closing off, the skin on the front of the body pulls down, maybe that widening sensation between the two hip bones, this connection of the ribs drawing in together, all of this tightens, but not so much it stops you being able to breathe into your belly. So that hopefully sets that area up. So you can take a hug of the knee. We're going to roll you up and bring yourself up into standing, whatever way feels comfortable for you. And then from there, we're going to bring you in with your stick. So you're going to place it in. You can use that chair again. Pop the tailbone close to the edge. And once we get it in place, fixed to the tailbone, the back of the head, the ribs are in contact, heels just slightly underneath, and legs hip distance apart, trying to keep those contact points. So again, we're coming up and down. We're hinging through those hips, driving up and down. And with each movement, as you work through it, be really conscious. What's coming out? Does it feel like the head's moving forward? Does it feel like your back is arching? Does it feel like your back is rounding? Because any of those that happen mean you're going to lose those contact points. So we've done 5 in through there. So we're going to bring it into standing. If you need to switch the arms around, you can do. Again, keeping those contact points for that deadlift movement now. Soft bend at the knees, send the tailbone backwards, press the heels into the floor, drive it up. Long spine, sending the tail back, driving the squeeze of the glutes to drive you back up again. Squeezing those sit bones together, and then feeling that lift and lengthening using those core muscles. So again, what we set up on the floor, that tightening in the lower tummy, that pulling up inside, pulling up the front of your spine, hopefully engages that lower tummy area. So we've done about 5 in through there. Now feel free after this ends to do another 5 of each of those, but we're going to take it into that mobility. So we're just going to take it head, chin to the chest, feet just comfortably apart, looking up to the ceiling. Chin to chest, looking up at the ceiling. And as we look down at the floor, roll your head to the right, roll your head down and to the left. And again, down to the right and down to the left. We'll go down to center and back in, looking forwards, and then circling the shoulders. So we'll take just 5 circles, opening up backwards, getting a little bit bigger, lifting those elbows if it feels comfortable. And then from there, we're going to take it into elbows. So elbows are fixed a little bit out from the body, those circles, and then switch, change direction. We're just doing 5 each way. Once we've done 5 there, then take it into the wrists for 5. And again, 5 the other way. So we're going to take the arm up and over, lift and stretch, and think of lifting the rib cage. So that postural position, when you're in standing, you're pressing your feet long and down into the floor. So you feel that you have that support, if you like, from the floor to help grow tall. But all the time, even as I'm doing this, I can feel there's a little bit of something pulling up inside. So you're not forgetting the core muscles. So lifting up and over. Okay. So as we finish there, we're going to bring our hands just in together, kind of meeting in the middle, and then taking that rotation. Let the legs twist, let the hips move, let the ribs move. So it's like you're moving up on a bit of a spiral, starting from the feet, and it gets that little bit bigger as it goes up, not straining the neck as you go. Okay, once we're done from there, so we're finishing up the opposite side to where we started. So we're going to take it into our hip circles. So circling through the hips. If you imagine that light shining from your tailbone, you're drawing a circle, and that circle might start in between the sides of your feet, maybe around about shoulder width apart, change direction. And maybe then it starts to get a little bit bigger as you do a few circles. And again, this is just a little burst, so you could certainly stop this, repeat it twice, or do so much more, you can choose. So take it in circles with the hips. So we're going to go 5 in one way. Then stabilize your knee in front. Whatever direction you went, try to circle the lower leg in that direction. Don't forget which way you go. We're going to then do the ankle for 5. Then we're going to switch the ankle, so other direction for 5. Then we're going to switch to the lower leg, that stir the pot type movement, standing strong through the supporting leg. And then once we've done those 5 stir the pot, you're going the other way with the standing leg. Whoops, wobbles. So again, if you need the toes to touch every so often, you can on those. Switch it over, bring the leg up, and again, strong through the supporting legs. Kung Fu Panda with the arms if that holds you steady. Or if you do need to hold on to the back of a chair or the wall, that's fine. The balance challenge is good to do. Steady the legs, stirring. And sorry, I just went both ways. Might as well go both ways. Sorry, change it over. That's grand. I think that just proves that I can't multitask. Okay, 5 each way with the ankles. And then we're done. Okay, so from there then, knees just a little bit closer together, feet a little bit closer together, those circles. Just taking that little bit of a weight bearing pressure. Again, as long as that feels okay. Now from there, we're going to bring you up, that hugging movement. Soft knees, curl the tailbone under, round through the spine, pulling the ribs backward, elbows nice and wide as you reach forward, hugging that beach ball. Hands to the low back, open up the chest. No back or bottom, pumping out the chest, squeezing the elbows together. Switch and change, round it out, and then hands to the low back and reach. We're going to take just 5 circles with the arm. And then other direction, so bringing the arms close to the ear, keeping the 2 shoulders facing forwards, and then 5 with the other arm. So again, as you work through this, you're trying to go hand or arm past the ear and past the hip. Once you've done 5, change direction. And we're going to finish with our little hugging movement. So we're reaching across, one arm in front, or on top rather, and then open, and then switch the other arm on top, and then open. So there's just that little bit of a spring with the movement. So you can go side on, you can reach one up, one down, just vary it, opening up that little squeeze of the shoulder blades in together. Just make it, you know, as relaxed as you can, but with intention, So we're trying to find this kind of idea that it's a full reset. We've gone everywhere with our movements, just taking those final rotations with the arms. So it's like a full reset that we've done, just to try to bring a little bit of balance into the body, so that the idea of our posture is set up, the muscles that we want to use are set up, and we can breathe correctly, and we have a sense of hinging, so we move correctly. So that's just a very brief reset that we've done over these number of days, but hopefully that just feels like you've brought in some good movements in there, and that you feel a little bit more open. Giving everything a little bit of a rattle, arms a bit of a shake, give the legs a little bit of a shake. And I know we've gone over the 10 minutes, but I did give myself that get out clause of up to 15. But I'm hoping that this has helped, and it's making sure that you are consistent. So that is our key. I want you to think, be consistent. So you finished it for today, thumbs up, go on, leave us a thumbs up on YouTube. So if you've enjoyed this, and leave a comment. The more you interact on YouTube, the more this hopefully gets out to people that could benefit from it. And that's always my hope, is that people are going to benefit from these. Otherwise, why would I bother? So I want people to benefit. So leave me a thumbs up, and a comment would be great. Subscribe if you haven't already. But I want you to make sure you stick with this idea, consistency. Nobody ever gets to success without consistency. So you have to make sure that you do it. And I want you to make sure that the more that you do it more regularly rather than every once in a while. So that's your motto, whatever you go on to do for the rest of your day. Be consistent, plant those little ideas in, pelvic tilts, engagements, tall posture, feeling the legs helping you grow tall, and practicing some deep breaths every so often. And if something feels stiff or tight, move it. Catch you for day 7 tomorrow. See you later.